Hello, Crypto Army. This is Jesse once again with the latest on the Gemini situation. I'm going to be covering Gemini among other financial topics. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell button so that you don't miss anything. And with that in mind, I have to say that on December the 6th, 2022, I finally received a letter from Gemini saying, quote, "Today, we are launching a new page that aims to bring as much transparency as possible to the process of finding a solution for all earned users to redeem their funds. You can view the page here. At a minimum, we will update this page on Tuesday and Friday of each week until a solution has been reached. Returning your funds is our highest priority, and we are operating with the utmost urgency." End quote. So that was the letter I received on December the 6th, 2022. Now, when you click here, you land on a page that looks like this with a similar statement as the one that we just read on the letter that reads like this, quote, "This page aims to bring as much transparency as possible to the process of finding a resolution for all earned users to redeem their funds. Gemini, acting as agent on behalf of earned users, has been in ongoing conversations with Genesis Global Capital LLC, or Genesis, Digital Currency Group, Inc., or DCG, the parent company of Genesis, and Barry Silbert, CEO of DCG, in an effort to find a resolution as soon as possible. Gemini has also formed an ad hoc committee with other creditors, or creditor committee, to coordinate efforts and advocate together. Returning your funds is our highest priority, and we are operating with the utmost urgency." End quote. So here on this webpage, we'll be able to get updates at least twice a week, on Tuesdays and Fridays. As you can see, there are a few updates already, starting from November the 16th, 2022, when all this tragedy started, all the way up until Friday the 9th, 2022. So in a nutshell, this is what's happened since November the 16th, 2022. On that day, Genesis, the lending partner of the EARN program, paused withdrawals and messaged us that they would not be able to meet EARN user redemption requests within the service level agreement, or SLA, of 5 business days. Gemini subsequently paused withdrawals on the EARN program. On November 21st, message from Gemini was sent to us, EARN users. December the 3rd, Kirk, Land, and Ellis are hired as counsel on behalf of the creditor committee. December 6th, EARN update page is launched. And December 9th, Houlihan Lokey is hired as financial advisor on behalf of the creditor committee. Besides these updates, the Gemini webpage contains a frequently asked questions section. Out of all the questions here, the 2 that I am interested in the most are, will I lose my money in EARN? And why is this taking so long? As an attempt to answer the question of whether we're losing our money, they put out a statement that generated all sorts of doubts and fears, at least for me. This statement cannot just be quoted. It needs to be dissected and analyzed. Let's read it first, and then let's jump on it and analyze it. The statement reads, "Our understanding is that Genesis paused withdrawals due to a liquidity issue resulting from a liquidity duration mismatch between Genesis assets and its liabilities. More specifically, we understand that Digital Currency Group, Inc., or DCG, the parent company of Genesis, owes Genesis $1.675 billion, $1.1 billion in the form of promissory note due in June 2032, and $575 million in the form of intercompany loan due in May 2023. In the wake of the FTX collapse, Genesis creditors made redemption requests that could not be met immediately due to the market turmoil and the longer time of the DCG liability repayments to Genesis. As a result, Genesis paused withdrawals on November 16, 2022. If our understanding is correct that this is a liquidity issue, for example, cash flow, insolvency, then a full recovery of funds for earned users is possible. If this is a Genesis balance sheet issue, for example, balance sheet insolvency whereby its assets are less than its liabilities, then a loss of some amount is possible. We do not have an indication at this time that this is a Genesis balance sheet issue, rather a liquidity cash flow issue. Our highest priority is to help earned users recover their funds. End quote. Wait a second. Read that again. Let's dissect this paragraph. What did you just say? So this is how they go. They start by saying, our understanding. What do you mean, our understanding? You don't know what's happened? Our understanding. What does that even mean? They go, our understanding. So they're now playing a fool. Like they don't know what happened. Like our understanding is, come on, Gemini, really? So they go, our understanding is that Genesis paused withdrawals due to a liquidity issue resulting from a liquidity duration mismatch between Genesis assets and its liability. Okay. They continue saying, quote, more specifically, we understand that Digital Currency Group, Inc., or DCG, the parent company of Genesis, owes Genesis $1.675 billion. $1.1 billion in the form of promissory notes, and this is what's interesting, my friend. Quote, due in June 2032. My friends, 2032? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? 2032? This is crazy. And they continue saying, quote, and $575 million in the form of intercompany loan due May 2023. And they keep going. Quote, in the wake of the FTX collapse, now they're trying to explain what happened, which we already know. Now they're going back to FTX. They keep going. Quote, Genesis creditors made redemption requests that could not be met immediately due to the market turmoil and the longer timeline of the DCG liability repayments to Genesis. And they go, as a result, Genesis paused withdrawals on November the 16th, 2022. Yes, we already know that. So now, what is the answer to my question, right? All right, and this is what's interesting. Listen, my friends. They say, if our understanding is correct, now they're playing the what if or the if-then game. If our understanding is correct. So, are you kidding me? This is a hypothesis now? You don't know what's going on? Like, really? Where's my money at? They say, if our understanding is correct, that this is a liquidity issue, for example, cash flow insolvency, then a full recovery of funds for earned users is possible. But that is conditional, my friend. And look how conditional this is. They go, if it is a liquidity issue, like a cash liquidity issue, then a refund or a recovery of the fund for earned user is possible. So even if they determine that that is the issue, the cash liquidity issue, which is the best case scenario, by the way, then it is a possibility that the earned users would get their funds. That is crazy. No, but it gets even more interesting. Look, okay, so here comes the bomb. They go, if this is a Genesis balance sheet issue, They're still playing the what-if game here, folks. They say, if this is a Genesis balance sheet issue, for example, balance sheet insolvency, whereby its assets are less than its liabilities, then a loss of some amount is possible. This doesn't look good at all, my friends. This is alarming. They're right here admitting that there is a possibility that end users might lose their funds. And they're saying it so lightly. Like, oh, well, if we discovered that there's a balance sheet insolvency, then some funds might be lost. And who's going to be responsible for that? Genesis? Because it doesn't look like they're making themselves responsible at this point. Not at all. If you read up there, they say that Genesis is acting as a representative for the end users. So like they're an intermediary. You understand what I'm saying? They're not like, oh, the entity that's responsible for these funds and we need to get the funds. No, they're like a referee kind of thing, like a representative. You know what I mean? But they don't have anything to do with it. That's basically the way they're acting. This is crazy. But let's keep reading. So they end by saying, quote, we do not have an indication at this time that this is a Genesis balance sheet issue, rather a liquidity cash flow issue. Our highest priority is to help end users recover their funds, end quote. This looks really bad, at least to me. This leaves more doubts than clarity. Please let me know what you think on the comments down below. How do you feel about this statement? How do you feel about this explanation or the answer to the question, will I lose my money in earn? Is it good? Is it bad? Like, what are your feelings about it? Let me know down there below on the comment section. So now, as for the why is this taking so long question, they said, quote, as mentioned above, we understand this to be a Genesis liquidity issue. If so, still playing the if-then game, Genesis has enough assets to pay its creditors, but doesn't have these assets in a liquid form of payment to do so right now. If so, I don't like that. If so, my friends. Whenever there is an if, there's usually problems. Another thing is that in the best case scenario, they can't pay right now. So that is the best case scenario, that they can't pay right now. And the worst case scenario, you know what it is, right? So if in the best case scenario, they can't pay right now, when are they going to pay? That is a very good question. When are they going to pay? If in the best case scenario, if the best case scenario happens, then when is that? When is the payment? They haven't answered that. Then they try to give us a lecture by saying liquidity issues can be solved in a variety of ways, including raising capital, raising debt, and or restructuring existing debt. Raising capital could, for example, involve Genesis selling equity in exchange of cash. Yes, but the problem is that nobody is willing to buy any equity in Genesis, given all the problems that they're involved in and experiencing right now. So don't even mention that. They go on explaining, quote, restructuring debt could, for example, involve DCG agreeing to pay down its loans to Genesis sooner. Sooner? What do you mean sooner? And where will the money come from? We're talking about 2032, folks. 10 years. 2032. And they conclude by saying, all of these possibilities can take time. And when they say time, you know what they mean. You know what they're talking about. They close by saying, nevertheless, we are doing everything we can to advocate for end users and to accelerate Genesis and DCG efforts to resolve this issue. As you can see, my friends, Gemini is not taking any responsibility here. They're washing their hands and putting everything on Genesis. when the entity which we signed a contract with was Gemini, not Genesis. They signed a contract with Genesis themselves. I mean, Gemini did their businesses with Genesis and they signed their contract. But we signed a contract with Gemini. So Gemini is supposed to make themselves responsible for whatever is happening to their users. And there should be a warranty right here. They should assure that the end users are going to get their funds no matter what happens to Genesis. But they're putting it as, well, it's not our fault. We ain't got nothing to do with it. If Genesis dies, then I'm sorry, but the funds are being lost. It's not our fault. You guys just lost their money. That's basically what they're saying. What they're saying is that if Genesis fails, which is very likely, your funds and my funds are lost forever. And there is nothing they can do about it. This is fucked up. So there you have it. That is the best Gemini has to say on their side. The best. But what does the rest of the world say about it? Let's find out. According to a report posted on Decrypt, Genesis owes Gemini Earn users, they mean us, $900 million. According to the Financial Times, which cited unnamed sources, the embattled cryptocurrency broker Genesis and its parent company Digital Currency Group, DCG, owe customers of Gemini Earn $900 million. The Financial Times reports that Gemini is attempting to recover the monies from Genesis and DCG as a member of a creditors committee. They're just a member of a creditors committee. And as such, they're advocating for the Earn users. Like, they're not actually hustling as if their life was on the line. No, they're just advocating as member of a committee that they have, creditors committee. Are you kidding me? Like, this is being taken so lightly. And then they put up statements saying that returning our funds, the Earn users' funds, is their utmost priority. That is BS, my friends. BS. This situation is getting even worse by the minute. So, since the FTX outbreak started at the beginning of last month, there has been a significant disruption to the Gemini Earn service. Genesis' exposure to FTX, which came via its derivatives trading business, was at least $175 million. Additionally, the already uncertain future for Gemini's creditors may be complicated by the complicated financial ties between Gemini and its parent business. The publication stated that as of the time of writing, Genesis was owed $1.7 billion by DCG, or Digital Currency Group, which also controls well-known crypto-focused investment firm Grayscale Capital, out of its $2 billion in total outstanding obligations. Users have received numerous assurances from the exchange that all funds held in the exchange are backed 1-to-1. Although Gemini and Genesis have been contacted by Decrypt for comments on the matter, not much more has been stated. And there you have it, my friends. That is the latest on the Gemini Earn situation. I will continue to cover this case among other financial topics. So if you don't want to miss a thing, please subscribe and hit the notification bell button. Also, don't forget to like, share, and comment down below. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Cheers.